Hey everybody, it's Melissa Martinez with another edition of Fit Friday. Guys, we are so excited it's Friday. I love Fridays. Michelle, do you love Fridays?
Yes, Fridays.
Yes, we love Fridays. Guys, I have a special guest today. Her name is Michelle Gallagher. And what's so special about her is she's my new coworker, but not just my new coworker. She has an amazing story that I wanted to share with you guys. She was a little bit shy, like everybody around the health department was when I first came, but I follow them around enough with the camera. They eventually give in. So, Michelle, you told me you've lost 90 pounds.
91 pounds, actually,
91.
yes.
Okay, so take us back to the day that you decided to make the changes.
Well, all my life I've struggled and I've yo-yo dieted and I've tried every new fad thing that came out on the market. But it wasn't until December, almost 2 years ago, I had been diabetic for a couple of years, but it was just getting worse. And you're like, you're going to have to give yourself injections. And I did not want to do that. And I just saw myself in a downward spiral. And I have children and I want to be fit and alive to enjoy grandchildren one day and my children and be able to do things with them. So I said, this has got to give here and I have got to make some changes.
Was it like an overnight, like a switch went off, or was it just kind of like a gradual, like, gosh, I gotta do something?
It's kind of been going on through my whole life, but the bad health, I just saw my health and my energy, everything depleting. And it's just like, okay, I have to do this myself. I can't put it off any longer. I need to do something now because all my life I've been kind of like, tomorrow I'll do this. Tomorrow I'll start a diet. Tomorrow I'll exercise. No, you have to do it today while you have today.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because you will put it off, And, the programs that we have here, we have our 45 to Fit program, guys, and we also have our 60 to Victory. But obviously, Michelle did this before we had those programs. So we try to provide the tools for people to do this. So where did you start then? Did you do some research? I mean, where did you learn?
I did research. I also talked to my physician.
Okay.
But I realized that everyone is an individual. They have their own struggles, their own journeys. Everyone's different. So you need to research and kind of customize what you can do, get your goals in line, and see where you need to go from there. So I researched and got some different things in mind. I was never a good exercise person. So I started by changing my diet. I grew up in that generation where, you have to make a happy plate. You have to clean your plate. So I decided, okay, I'm going to get a smaller plate. Okay.
Oh, good idea.
I also loved sugary things and carbs. And with being a diabetic, those are no-nos because carbs turn into sugar, but they also make me tired. They don't give me energy. They make me tired. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to slowly get away from the sweets, get away from the carbs. I upped my protein. I upped fresh fruits and vegetables and just tried to stay away from carbs as much as possible and no refined sugars. Now, I still, every now and then, I'll have maybe a little piece of cake at somebody's birthday party. I don't take away everything, but I have learned to make smaller portions and control things better than I did. And then when I got more energy from these choices, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to start walking. And then I went from walking to riding an exercise bike and doing sit-ups and just whatever I could fit in. Some days I don't feel like doing anything, but I'm just like, okay, if I could just, I gave myself small goals like, okay, I'm going to walk up to my mailbox 3 times, or I'm going to walk up and down the steps 3 times. And, even 1 time's better than no time.
Sure. So, yeah, agreed.
So even if you just keep yourself moving, doing something every day is better than nothing.
Those are some great tips because I think that people think that they have to jump into it I've said this before and I'll say it again, that comparison is the thief of joy. And I think that a lot of people think they'll compare themselves to someone and they'll say, oh my goodness, she walks 3 miles every morning. I can't do that. That's okay. She didn't walk 3 miles every morning without starting off walking to her mailbox. And then she went further and further and further. So I love what you said about the small steps, guys. That's a reminder that she started off small and then moved up to the recumbent bike. And now, what are you doing now? What's a typical day look like as far as fitting in your exercise? How many times a week do you exercise, and how do you make sure you fit that in?
I just try to do something every day.
Okay.
Now, if I skip a day or I don't feel good, I don't try to beat myself up over that. I try to do something a little extra the next day. But I don't really have a schedule. I just kind of take the day as it comes and do what I can.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So,
You don't have to schedule everything. So what I hear you saying and I love is you're the sum of everything that you do. Not just the sum of one day, not just the sum of, and a lot of people do that. Oh my goodness, I failed today. That's okay. How would you do the other 6 days of the week? Right?
right.
I love
And
that.
you can't beat yourself up or discourage yourself or even compare your story to someone else's, because that's your own journey and it's your choices. It's just you have to remember what's important. And a lot of it, I think, is psychological.
Yeah.
You have to, like, when I eat, and I'm not like, I really do want a piece of cake, but I'm eating salad. I'm like, you know what? I can feel my stomach just getting smaller and smaller. Eating that salad,
That's, I love that because quite honestly, I was telling you a little bit about Linda. We had her on for Fit Friday a couple weeks ago, but she was just saying that she had to do that mind switch too, that she remembered, she would always go to food as her comfort, but she would remember that, that cake lasted for 30 seconds, but then she had to work that off. And so she said if she just could get through it, like you said, my stomach's getting smaller, eat the salad, eat the salad, eat the salad, then you're thankful later that you did that.
Well, and after a while, when you start eating healthy and you're just down to that, if you have a cheat day or you eat something sweet, it makes you feel bad immediately. And food is an addiction.
I agree.
And I was an emotional eater, and I used things as a reward to treat myself. Oh, I'll have ice cream, I'll have cake, I'll have an extra helping of something. But I'm like, you can still treat yourself. It doesn't have to be food. It can be a movie. It can be spending time with your best friend. It can be shopping, which could be another addiction.
Well, I'm out.
But it's just a lot of psychological things that I dealt with and how I was raised and how I felt about myself, I think led to that. And I did find comfort in food. But you just have to look at your past and who you are and try to figure out what is that trigger and why you're turning to that.
Ooh,
Comfort.
I love that you said that because I've said that before. Overeating, is just a symptom of a bigger problem. It's usually something else, and it's good to find that. And you told me, and I hope you don't mind me talking about this, but your self-esteem from when you started until now has really just gone way, way up.
I never had a lot of self-worth, and it started probably at childhood too. You start believing things about yourself or things that even other people say, and you make that who you are. But you get to decide who you want to be and who you really are. So it's taken me many years to figure that out, but I finally have. But I think that an achievement in weight loss has helped me to feel better, to think more positively about myself and the choices that I make.
Well, I think because you've achieved these major goals and you feel like, gosh, if I can do that, I can do this and I can do this, right?
Yes. And there has been times that I've been discouraged. I've plateaued and haven't lost a lot of weight. I weigh myself every day. And some people are like, oh, I can't do that. How do you do that? I have to do that to keep myself on track. Because if I'm gaining weight, I need to know that so I can figure out the next step to keep on track.
Michelle, I love that. I think that everybody, like you said, I think you nailed it in the beginning. But you have to find what works for you.
Yes.
Some people would get obsessive over that and it might make or break their day. But other people embrace it and it works really well for them. So I think for that person out there listening, you have to find what works for you.
Yes,
You know?
customize and make it yours.
Yeah.
Own it.
Own it. I love that. So what are your goals for the future? Just to keep it off, or you have any?
I would like to lose maybe 20 more pounds. And yes, I hope to keep it off. I have for almost 2 years. So
That's
that
wonderful.
makes me feel good and accomplished. And I just don't try to get frustrated or get down. I just try to keep hanging in there and doing what I do, and hopefully
Yeah.
I can get to where I really want to be. So.
And a good attitude. I mean, you got to have a good attitude, because that's when you can be triggered by,
Yes.
yeah.
And it takes them all together. And a support group is, it's good to tell your closest friends and family what your plans are. And especially if they're struggling with the same thing, you guys can kind of motivate each other and tell each other what's going on. And that's really good to have too.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of support groups, like huge fan. I think that, especially for the long term, I think that's crucial.
And take pictures so you have the reminder of how far you've come, even if it's only 2 weeks. Even if you've only lost 2 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, keep taking pictures so you can go back and remember.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's part, actually, guys, of our 45 to Fit program. So guys, we're having a start on June 1st. You can start anytime you want, but that's a great program. So, in 45 days, like you said, you had to make the decision that you weren't going to put it off. You just had to do it, because it's easy for tomorrow to turn into a year, to turn into 2 years, to turn into 3. So for that person out there listening, I'm just going to challenge you. Our 45 to Fit program starts on June 1st. It's got an accountability group. We have detailed things that you can work through, so you have a plan. And also, in 45 days, you can have achieved a victory. So, it's kind of up to you. You want to put it off, keep putting it off. 45 days is going to be 45 days, whether you do it or not. So I love all your tips. So for that person out there specifically, I want you to, for the one that's going, maybe tomorrow, maybe next month.
Do it today. You have today. Do it today.
You don't regret it at all, do you?
No. The energy is tremendous. I've always been a big girl and wore double-digit sizes, and I'm in single digits. It's like, if I could have done this years ago, I would have done this.
I love it.
So,
hey guys, you heard it from Michelle. Don't put it off. If you come into the health department for me to measure you, if you guys want, when you start 45 to Fit, she'll be at the front desk with a big, beautiful smile. So welcome to the health department. We're glad that you're on board, and thanks for sitting down to talk to me.
Thank you, Melissa.
Happy Fit Friday, guys.